Hey everyone! In this tutorial, we're going to build a really cool animated skill effect in Godot using a material visual shader graph. We'll create the mesh in Blender, animate textures with UV scrolling, build the shader entirely with visual shader nodes, and finally trigger everything from a character animation. Let's get started. First, let's create the mesh in Blender. Start with a new scene. Press A to select everything, then press X to delete it. Now add a Bezier curve. Switch into edit mode. Delete all of the existing control points because we'll be drawing our own shape. From the toolbar on the left, select the Draw tool, then draw the curve for your skill effect. You can switch to top view with numpad 7 or side view with numpad 3. On Mac, use the equivalent function keys if needed. Once you're happy with the curve, go to the Data Properties tab, expand geometry, and increase the extrude value. Now the curve becomes a 3D mesh. If you want to add some twisting, press Ctrl+T or Command+T on Mac. Next, we want the skill to start small and become larger toward the end. Select the curve points, then press Alt+S or Option+S on Mac to scale the curve vertically until it has a nice flowing shape. Now switch back to object mode. Press F3 or Function+F3 on Mac, search for Convert and choose Mesh. This converts the curve into a real mesh. Let's quickly verify the UV direction before exporting. Create a new material. For the base color, add an image texture that contains arrows pointing upward. We'll animate the UV later, so it's very important that the arrows move in the correct direction. Split the viewport and change one panel to the UV editor. Go into edit mode, press A to select all vertices, then rotate the UVs with R and scale them until they match the texture properly. Make sure the arrows point in the correct direction. You can test this by moving all UV vertices along the y-axis. If the arrows scroll correctly, then everything is ready. Here's a nice trick. If you want the animation to move slower near the end of the mesh, simply make the edge loops denser there. Select the two vertices at the very top. Enable proportional editing. Change the fall-off type to sharp, then press S followed by Y to scale only along the y-axis. Use the mouse wheel to adjust the proportional editing radius. Notice how the vertices become denser near the end. Since the UV has less distance to travel there, the animation naturally appears to slow down. Once everything looks good, export the mesh as an FBX. You can also use OBJ or any other format you prefer. Now let's move over to Godot. Import the mesh file. Drag the mesh scene into your project. Right-click the Mesh Skill node and enable Editable Children. Expand the hierarchy and select the Mesh node. In the inspector, expand Geometry. Next to Material Override, click the small arrow and create a new shader material. Since this material is shared, click on it once to make it unique. Now create a new shader. Rename it to Skill Shader. Change the shader type to Visual Shader, then click Create. Now, select the new shader. Expand the Mode section. Set Cull to Disabled so both sides of the mesh are visible. Then change both diffuse and specular to toon. This gives the effect a nice stylized look that works really well for anime-style VFX. Open the shader editor and switch to fragment mode. Let's build the first part of the shader. Create a texture 2D parameter and rename it to base. Set the default color to black and disable repeat. Connect the sampler 2D output into a texture 2D node. Then connect that into the albedo input of the shader output. When that's done, you'll see a new base parameter inside the inspector under shader parameters. Assign a gradient texture 2D. Adjust the gradient so both edges are black. Now add a UV scaling node. Create a vector 2 parameter to control the scale values. Then add a UV panning node and another vector 2 parameter for controlling the offset. Let's test it. Change the base offset and base scale values. Linear fill doesn't look very good when moving along the y-axis. Instead, switch the gradient texture to radial fill. Adjust the radial position until it fits nicely inside the mesh. Now, change the offset value again. That looks much better. To make animation easier later, we'll create a float slider to control the offset. Next, add a frame node. Change its color. Move all of these base nodes inside it and rename the frame to base so everything stays organized. Now duplicate the entire setup. We'll use this second copy for the skin texture. Since the skin texture is only black and white, expand the color node, multiply the base color red channel with the skin color red channel, then connect the result into the alpha output. Now assign your skill skin texture. You can create any black and white pattern you like. At the moment, both textures have separate animation controls. Instead, let's drive them with a single slider. Add a parameter reference node and reference the offset slider. Replace the skin offset input with this shared parameter. Now both textures animate together with only one slider. You'll notice the beginning and end of the mesh still have some hard edges. Simply add a mask texture to fade those areas out. Next, add a color parameter and connect it to the albedo output. Now we can change the skill color directly from the inspector. Also add an emission energy parameter so we can control how bright the effect appears. And that's it. Our shader is finished. Now let's animate it. Add an animation player. Animate the shader properties such as the offset slider and the color parameter. Try swapping different skin textures as well. Here's the dragon texture I'm using. To animate the shader, select the mesh skill material. Under shader parameters, click the key icon beside each property. Move the timeline, change the value, then insert another keyframe. You can also trigger gameplay events using a call method track. Add a call method track, select the node that contains your script, then choose the function you want to call. Let me show you how I use this with my Goku character. Open the player scene. Select the animation player. Here I have a spellcast animation. Right after the punch animation, I placed a call method keyframe. When the timeline reaches that frame, it calls the spellcast point function inside the player script. Let's open the script. You can see the function simply spawns the skill effect at the character's right hand. For character animation, I'm using a simple animation tree. There's a locomotion state for idle and walking, and a one-shot node for the spell animation. Inside the player script, the state starts as idle. When the character moves, it travels to walk. When the player casts a spell, it requests the one-shot animation. Let's test everything. Now I can move the character around. When I press Z, the spell is fired exactly when the punch animation reaches the timing we marked in the animation player. Finally, let's look at how the skill scene is spawned. Inside the player script, I exported a spell group. In the inspector, you'll see a PackedScene property where we can assign our mesh skill effect scene. Inside the mesh skill effect scene, the script automatically plays the casting animation when the scene is initialized. Back in the player inspector, simply assign the mesh skill effect scene to the skill effect variable. Then in the player script, instantiate that PackedScene at the character's right hand. and your complete skill effect is ready to use. And that's everything for this tutorial. You now know how to create a custom mesh in Blender, build a visual shader graph in Godot, animate textures with UV scrolling, synchronize everything with AnimationPlayer, and spawn the effect perfectly during a character animation. If this tutorial helped you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more Godot tutorials, and I'll see you in the next one.